everybody. I'm Andra Barker, for those of you that don't know, and welcome to our channel. We appreciate everyone who's been watching our videos and sending messages and just showing us some social media love. It's been fun, and our kids really look forward to your comments, and it means a lot to all of us. So we've been asked on more than one occasion to share the story of how we met. So today we thought we would do that. But first of all, I'll introduce you to my better half. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Josh Barker. This is my better half.
And see why we make a good team? We complement each other, literally.
So, back in high school, I was a senior and she was a junior, and every day at the end of the lunch period, we would have to wait at the end of the hall so we could go back to our lockers before we went to our next classes. And so every day I would stand down there, and then I'd be waiting and she'd be walking down, and usually she'd be asking for candy or gum and different people. And so and I was too shy to say anything, but I had my eye on her. And
I was doing my share of staring too. We were both shy though, so
yeah, pretty shy. So
you'd never know it now.
So so after it was probably about a week or two, probably I'd say, I decided to get up the nerve to go get some gum and be ready so that when she asked, I would have something. And so
let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. So you did that before school. Didn't your mom get suspicious when you left early? Did she ask any questions now?
No, I went to school early often, so it didn't really matter. Okay. So
see, I was the type of student that would turn the shower on and pretend I was showering and nap on the bathroom floor because I was always tired. And sorry, Mom. So I was always running late. You were always early.
Well, sometimes I had practices early too. So
that's true. Okay.
So I went to the gas station and picked up some gum, some Big Red gum, and and brought it to school. And so that day, when she came walking down and was asking people for gum or candy, I had the gum ready. And so I learned quickly that if I had gum or candy, that I would be able to talk to her. So we would walk down the hallway and talk. And it was, maybe only like a few minutes, but like to walk that far, but maybe 5 minutes at the most, but we would talk every day. And so came time for the school dance coming up. And so
homecoming, was it?
It was just the school dance, I think. Yeah, it was just a welcome back to school dance or something like that. And so
and I can't dance, by the way.
And I can't either. No, so
I'm two left feet. It was
hopefully
there's no video of that anywhere.
Actually, I had never been to a school dance, and it was my senior year, and I had never been to a school dance.
Neither had I, mostly because I couldn't dance.
Yeah, I didn't go to dances, so that was not my thing. So so I asked her if she was going to be there, and no. I said, "Are you going to be at the dance?" And she thought I was saying, "Will you go to the school dance?"
This is where the story gets interesting. He says that I thought, but he did. He said, "Do you want to go to the dance?"
No, I said, "Are you going to be there?" And she thought I asked her if I would. If
decades later, it's still
But every day, then I would be walking her to the car, but she didn't want me to meet her dad yet, and so
my dad picked me up from school because we lived pretty far out, and so he was nice enough to pick me up after work. And
But did your dad know that you were meeting me at the dance? No, I didn't think so.
Yeah, sure he did. I was very upfront and told him everything.
Yeah. So
I'm sure of it. I can't remember. It's been so long.
Yeah.
But disclaimer: the reason I was always asking people for gum was because I was always running late and could never stop and get my own. That's why.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't know if he would ever talk to me, because I don't know if you remember this or not, but one of the first times I actually saw him was I was coming down a staircase, and I'm also known by Grace, so tripping over my feet all the time. I'm probably one of the few people that can trip going up the stairs. I'm just always busy. Sometimes I'll read as I walk, and yeah, so there's been a few incidents where I fell. But I fell down a staircase, and when I got to the end of it and look up, he was right there getting something out of his locker, and he turned and looked at me, and I was like, oh, he's cute. I gotta meet this person. I don't know if you ever remember that, but I thought, that dude just saw me fall down the stairs. He's never gonna talk to me. So hopefully you don't remember that.
I don't think I do remember that, but I do remember that you were talking to a lot of different people, so I didn't think that you would talk to me. I didn't think you would. So,
It was interesting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So good thing one of us spoke. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, here mm-hmm. we are 5 kids later. Mm-hmm. So speak up, guys. If you see someone that you want to meet, you better speak up, right?
Yeah, we almost missed each other, didn't we?
We did, mm-hmm. but God had other plans.
That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But we found out that would have been in September-ish. And so Thanksgiving of that year, he asked me to go to Thanksgiving at his grandparents' house where his father's side of the family would be and all their cousins, things like that. And so we went. And immediately when I got there, I knew I had been there before. I just couldn't remember how or when I had been there. And as soon as we walked in the house and I met his grandmother named Evelyn, I remembered. You know how in your childhood, you don't remember everything about every day, but there are certain things that just stick out in your mind. You'll have met someone or maybe even a smell. There's a certain smell that reminds me of one of my grandmothers to this day. And so there's just certain people in your life that you meet that you just don't forget it. When I was in 6th grade, I started going to a private Christian school, and you had to wear uniforms. And this was back in the day before you could go on Amazon Prime and order it, and it would be there in 2 days. You had to actually have someone make it.
Mm-hmm. She was a seamstress, yeah.
Yes, mm-hmm. So Evelyn, his grandmother, was a seamstress. And so back when I was in 6th grade, we went to her house, she measured us, and while I was there, I really remember Evelyn because when I walked in the door, I could smell chocolate chip cookies.
Mm-hmm. She would make those all the time. Yeah. They were the best.
And her house
smelled
smelled
in the freezer. Yeah,
amazing.
She would bake a couple dozen and stick them in the freezer mm-hmm. in Ziploc bags.
And they were so good. And so while she was measuring me, she offered me a couple of chocolate chip cookies. Well, my grandparents were gone through most of my childhood. They had all passed away. And so she just struck me as like the grandmother, definition of a grandmother, because she smelled like chocolate chip cookies and she was so warm and friendly like a grandmother would be. And so I never forgot her. And when I was there and she was measuring me, and as I'm chomping on this wonderful cookie, I see something out of the corner of my eye, and I look and I see this little head peek around the corner with black curly hair, and then it was gone. And a few minutes later, I see it again. I turn around, and the cutest little boy with black hair was staring at me. So I did what, anyone in that position would do at that age.
She stuck her tongue out at me.
I did. But I thought he was really cute, and I wasn't about to admit that in front of my mother, in front of him, or in front of his grandmother. So after talking and saying, Josh, I've been here before. I've been to your grandmother's house.
I thought she was losing her mind.
Yeah, he's like, you've not been here. I started recounting my story. Evelyn says, I know who you are. I remember you. She said when Joshua, and she was one of the very few people that ever called you Joshua. Mm-hmm. But she said, when he told me your name, I knew I had heard that somewhere before. Since my name is Andra, but people call me Annie, Andy, mm-hmm. all sorts of.
Yep.
They get it wrong.
Andre.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
They typically get it wrong, so when she called me by my name, I knew that it was the Evelyn I remembered. And as she and I are sharing the story, and Josh is standing there looking like, have they lost it? What's going on? Then it clicks for him, and he remembers.
Mm-hmm. I do. I remember that.
So I would have been at the summer after my 5th grade, so the summer after your 6th grade. So we actually met many, many years before, and never knew it mm-hmm. until later on. But that's mm-hmm. the story of how we met. And then we dated for a few years, and he went off to college, and then I was going to go to the same college, but before before I moved off to college, we decided, you know what, we're both going to be there. We just decided to go ahead and get married. Mm-hmm. So we married very young, and we kind of grew up together.
Yeah, we did.
But by the grace of God, and because we allow God to be the head of our marriage, we have a great marriage. And we've, no marriage is perfect. No relationship is perfect. But God has really blessed us and given us a good life, and we're very thankful for it.
Yes, we are. And that first year when we were apart, I think made us grow closer over time and kind of tested us whether or not we were going to stick with it. And then when we got married and then we moved down there, it was actually a very good thing.
It was.
It's a very good thing to leave and cleave. We believe in that, where you're supposed to leave the old family life. Not that you're supposed to not have a relationship with your family, but you should
find that bond.
Yeah, you should find that bond. And being apart and being further away really helped that in that process. I think because we had to depend on each other. We were far away, and we had to
each other.
And it was
nobody.
good. Yeah, it was
a good thing.
It was a good thing.
We didn't think so at the time. I think we were kind of like, whoa, we're all alone.
Yeah, it was tough for us. We were figuring everything out, and there's a lot of background in that too, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, in times coming up. But those early years were very special to us, and we look back with a lot of fondness and those things. We had a lot of good memories. We did a lot of picnics, and we did a lot of.
We were broke college
We were broke,
students.
but we found a way to do stuff and just make memories.
And even if that was buying chicken nuggets, and those who have known us a long time know that story. So thank you to all those who visit us, and we fed you chicken nuggets because
we weren't used to shopping, and I had a pretty big family, so when I would help my mom shop, we would get the big bag of chicken nuggets, like the 5-pound bag. So,
but I think it was like a buy one get one free.
Yes, it was.
So it was like 10 pounds of chicken.
Yes, and we didn't know like how much to get, or we just weren't used to having to do that.
I still do not like chicken nuggets to this day.
Yeah, we had 2 5-pound chicken nugget bags in our freezer, and that took up like our whole freezer. So every time like one of my friends that I had made, or there was a lot of people that we knew that went to the college we were going to, would come over, we would offer them chicken nuggets.
Hey, you hungry?
Yeah.
Let us feed you.
And they got tired of being asked, so they stopped
after
coming
the third
over.
or fourth time, they're like, no, I already ate. I'm good.
Let's meet somewhere. Yeah. So we stopped doing that. But eventually I think we did throw probably at least half of a bag.
I think we were tired of just looking at them every time we opened the freezer.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And hamburger helper was like
tuna melt,
and tuna melt and hamburger helper.
Oh my gosh!
And peanut butter sandwiches, and I don't know what else. Those were like the staples that we had like all the time.
There'll be a whole video on living in married student housing.
Yes,
because that's a story upon itself.
Yes, and what it was probably made, I don't know. I'm guessing at least in the 1950s, probably.
Yes, and when we went in 1993, it was still the same, and it was awful.
Yes,
but
very interesting though. It was the best
cozy.
of times and the worst of times. Yeah.
It was cozy.
Yes, it was.
It was very cozy.
Yes.
Thank you for watching. See you next time.